Now look at them. You caused that serpent, who believed they were untouchable, to completely collapse. They are frantically sending strange, insane messages to anyone who will listen, including friends, relatives, mutual connections, and even people they hardly know. They are in full panic mode. Everyone is seeing their pitiful breakdown in real time as their mask has fallen off, their poise has been lost, and all of their manipulative techniques have failed. All you had to do was stand by your convictions, and now this snake is destroying itself in front of everyone. It's pitiful how badly they've got you. They can't sleep without seeing your face behind their eyelids. Obsession gnaws at them like poison. You were the one who always left, the one who stood up for what was right when others chose to tell lies. The energy depicts someone focusing your light, hiding in the digital shadows, watching and waiting for any scrap of your focus. Now, this snake energy is powerful, slithering across the ethers and upsetting your tranquility with erratic vibrations. Don't you sense it? They are projecting, reaching out with desperate fingers of thought, attempting to draw you back into their web during those sporadic, seemingly unplanned times of uneasiness. However, your instincts are more powerful than their whispers. Energy vampires are currently ravenous and cannot feed when your field is sealed. They stalk your pages, send messages to your pals, and scrutinize every word you post in public. With every day that goes by, the obsession intensifies. Your light sets off their darkness. Your calm sets off their turmoil. The contrast is getting intolerable for them, and still you remain, eyes unblinking by their frantic attempts to bring you down. As truth bursts through their illusions, someone is truly on their knees, pleading with the cosmos to spare them from the repercussions they have caused. Tears are running down their cheeks. They never expected their deeds would have such a precise recurrence. They never dreamed it would come to this. Friends who were not friends, family members who violated blood bonds, and lovers who talked with forked tongues were all circling now, discovering too late the power they challenged. Their disdain for you wasn't casual. It was planned, intentional, and repetitive. Some people want to apologize, but the words sting like thorns in their throat. While regret consumes them, pride keeps them quiet. The person who chose deceit over truth and treachery over devotion is the one they struggle with when they look in the mirror. That hardship is not your burden. It is their lesson. Their sleep is plagued by nightmares. Your face shows up in their dreams, not out of fury, but out of disappointment. And that disappointment pierces their souls more deeply than anger ever could. They look for shortcuts around the inevitable suffering of growth, for answers that don't exist. There are no simple routes to accountability in the cosmos. Their prayers reverberate in deserted rooms, reminding them of their actions. Truth doesn't require defenders. It just waits to be found. And now it makes itself known like the sun rising on a battlefield. People who distribute false information about you are being exposed in ways they never expected. Screenshots they thought were erased, private chats they thought were private, and secret activities they thought were hidden are all coming to light. The truth comes to light through unexpected people and in unexpected places. Someone who previously remained silent now articulates what they saw clearly. Under pressure, the gang that stood with you disintegrates. Now, united in falsehood, they turn against one another in an attempt to protect themselves. As their fabricated reputations start to fall apart, panic breaks out among them. Everything is planned by divine timing, so you don't have to do a thing. Strangers send messages to your mailbox, revealing conspiracies you were unaware of. Evidence holds itself in reserve, awaiting the ideal opportunity to surface. Their secrets are suddenly exposed by the technology that once made their plans possible. Private was never really private, and deleted isn't really deleted. Their aims are perfectly mapped out in the digital footprints they left behind. One by one, witnesses come forward because they can no longer bear the burden of silence. They believed they were in charge of the story, manipulating strings, whispering poison into receptive ears, and fabricating smoke and mirrors to skew your perception. Their preferred tactic was false testimony, charges without proof, unsubstantiated tales. They never realized that truth has a frequency that penetrates delusion. They misjudged the security that envelops the genuine. They undervalued the strength of integrity, your integrity. Their meticulously crafted tales now crumble apart, one detail at a time. Witnesses come forward, proof is revealed, and inconsistencies become unavoidable. The very individuals they persuaded to oppose you start to doubt what they were told. Uncertainty replaces certainty, and it is in that uncertainty that your vindication takes root. In the clear light of awareness, their methods of manipulation, such as love bombing, triangulation, and subtle distortions of reality, become plain and even visible to individuals who were formerly duped by them. People who used to avoid you are now looking for you since they are aware of the lie they engaged in. With every revelation, the manipulators' hold on power erodes despite their best efforts to keep it. Their strategies only serve to hasten their demise because they become more desperate, conspicuous, and blatantly malevolent. Energy always finds its way back to its source. Those who have exploited circumstances to hurt you now find that they are being manipulated. Those who have lied about you suddenly become the targets of lies, and those who have been gossiping behind your back now find that they have always been the target of whispers. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $20 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. Someone who formerly stood solidly against you has found they were duped into adopting that stance. The cosmos teaches with perfect accuracy. Their eyes' veil lifts to see how expertly they were played. The energy that came from your light is getting weaker every day as its source is exhausted. What previously appeared strong now struggles to survive. What once posed a threat now backs off. The reversal occurs so thoroughly that it nearly appears to have been planned. It was, but not by a human. Those who thought they were hunters realized they were prey, while those who thought they were puppeteers realized they were puppets all along. The perfect symmetry of consequences shows the cosmic joke. Those who attempted to deplete your resources are visited by money difficulties. Those who tried to poison your connections are engulfed by relationship upheaval. And those who attempted to sap your vigor are confronted by health issues. Energy returns to its source with mathematical precision, not because you want these things upon them. Quicksand-based relationships are sinking. Betrayals, adultery, and hidden agendas are all coming to the surface like bodies in a flood. Nothing is left hidden. A celebration-related fraud is exposed, a phony happiness, an attention-seeking act. The facade breaks down, exposing the intense need for approval that drove it. The weight of their acts rests on their shoulders, heavy and immobile, while others who took part in campaigns against you sit in stunned silence as the truth erupts around them. The mirror reflects only decisions they can no longer dispute, so they grasp for explanations and find none, and they look for excuses and find none, while professions flow from shaky lips and some crack under the pressure and confess, Others become more and more defiant as the evidence against them grows. In any case, you see from a distance, removed from their mayhem. Secret meetings are made public, private texts are made public, and the concerted attempt to undermine you is exposed in all its deliberate malice. Those involved scatter like cockroaches in sudden light when names are given, dates are verified, and agendas are revealed. When self-preservation takes precedence, alliances break down. The truth no longer merely whispers, it now shouts, and those who attempted to stifle it cover their ears too late. This is for the people who are just themselves and don't require acknowledgement or permission. They decided not to see what was in front of them, so here's to you. They were presented with the truth about you by reality, but they chose not to taste it. Someone was deliberately turned against you, tricked into believing lies, and coerced into using them as a weapon. They now stand in disbelief, as the person they trusted the most turns out to be dishonest. They avidly ingested and disseminated rumors, which have had disastrous results. Everywhere they look, obstacles arise, doors close, and possibilities disappear. Their intents turned into poison, and now they drink it with every thought, and their tongues turned into swords, cutting themselves with every word. The cosmos reacts to the energy they exert. Instead of using words to warn them, you set an example by speaking the truth while others opted for lies. With every day that goes by, the disparity grows more pronounced. Red lights that they disregarded now mockingly wave in front of them, and proof that they dismissed comes back to haunt them. What they could have had, what they threw away, the potential destroyed by their refusal to see. In the wasteland created by their choices, your absence is the most agonizing realization. Instinctive hits they suppressed now scream in their consciousness. The willful blindness lifts. The people who conspired against you break up. Friendships fall apart. Trust erodes, and they turn on one another with the same ferocity that they used against you. Sharing screenshots, playing recordings, and disclosing secrets all contribute to the snake pit turning into a site where people commit suicide. The full power of that darkness is now felt by those who participated in evil rituals. Hungry for reward, the energy they called forth recirculates. Former allies exchange desperate texts, including threats, apologies, and accusations. Your boundaries remain solid while their world falls apart, even if some people reach out to you in a last-ditch attempt to stabilize their collapsing reality. While they are still caught in patterns they made up, you have been set free from their tangled web of negativity and are now able to follow your genuine path. You were always meant for more than their narrow vision could understand, and the snake slams out, naked and helpless. The implosion occurs with startling speed. Days of exposure bring years of deceit to an end. Those who gathered to watch your demise now watch their own justice take many forms and appear through numerous channels, but it always comes. The architects of suffering become victims of their own creation. This is not about getting even. Rather, it's about restoring equilibrium to skewed circumstances. You merely needed to be steadfast in your knowledge. Your quiet while they yelled lies screamed louder than any battle. The universe always keeps track, so even as they raged in disorder, your tranquility remained unbroken. The energy surrounding you always becomes clearer, brighter, and more in tune with your own frequency. Those who are able to see your light approach you with regard and respect, while those who are unable to do so turn away. The snake's crash is not your victory. Rather, it is the inevitable result of challenging what is divinely protected. In any case, your trip continues unhindered. Your gifts were selected because they challenge powers that would rather humanity stay unconscious, but consciousness spreads through you like wildfire, unstoppable, transformative, and important. You were chosen for reasons that are beyond mortal comprehension. You are here for a reason. If you feel the call, answer it. Click Join to unlock exclusive content, deep insights, and a powerful community. This isn't just a membership, it's an awakening. Step into your divine purpose. Join the chosen. This purification was unavoidable and necessary for your next stage of development. Unnecessary things are eliminated, erroneous relationships are broken up, and room is created for what really belongs in your field, for those who actually deserve to have access to your energy. Every apparent setback is actually preparing you for better alignment, a more genuine purpose and genuine power as the divine plan plays out with flawless perfection. It wasn't haphazard, rather, it was planned, with several individuals and circumstances intended to throw off your energies. The linkages between seemingly unconnected occurrences suddenly become apparent. The same minds created different attacks, the same hands pulled different strings, all with the same end objective in mind: to weaken your might. They attempted to own what wasn't rightfully theirs. They fought what they couldn't comprehend, and they frightened what they couldn't control. The network of deceit extends farther than you first thought. Individuals you never suspected were involved, locations you believed to be secure, compromised. But exposure offers the chance to purify, to let go of things that no longer serve the greater good, to make room for genuine relationships to develop, to make room for the real. The phony must go. Patterns that are too exact to be accidental, identical words spoken by several mouths, similar strategies utilized in various situations showcase the coordination. Those who claimed to act independently are now proved to be connected, and those who seem to be victims are now exposed as instigators, making it impossible to ignore the telltale signs of orchestration. The puppet masters, faces and names you wouldn't recognize, but who have known you, observed you, and followed your movements, move from shade into grudging light. If it weren't for the unquestionable, indisputable, and overwhelming proof, the extent of the conspiracy would appear insane. Genuine mentors appear. Those who are in alignment with your highest good seem to be called upon. Words that speak to your soul come to you in unexpected ways. The veils between realms thin around you. Synchronicities grow. Number patterns attract your attention, and dreams get more intense. You gain insight into previously unclear goals, clarity regarding previously perplexing circumstances, and understanding regarding previously perplexing individuals. The purpose of the guidance is to validate the whispers of your higher self and to reinforce your beliefs in your own intuition, not to guide you. Pay attention, particularly during the quiet times between ideas, as it is where the best advice is given and where your power has always been. Messengers can take many different forms. Strangers speak words that open doors in your mind. Books fall open to pages that contain just what you need to hear. Songs play with lyrics that answer questions you haven't asked, or animals cross your path at the right moment. Keep an eye out for these indicators, which increase during periods of change, when decisions influence futures, and when timelines intersect and diverge. The messengers just assist you in accessing what your soul already knows. They do not provide you new information. They serve as a reminder of agreements made prior to this existence, of goals decided upon prior to this one, and of the wisdom ingrained in your spiritual makeup. They still try to reach you even when they crash, strange energies in your inbox, strange messages on your phone, because even negative connections fuel them. They compose sentences that are meant to arouse your interest, remorse, compassion, or any other emotion that would restore connection. Even your rage would replenish their depleted field. They use mutual contacts to entice you emotionally. They fabricate circumstances to grab your attention. They stage both tragedy and victory in the hopes that you will notice. As their power diminishes, their desperation grows. Observe without interfering. If you can keep your distance long enough to notice their strategies, you can learn from them. You'll need this knowledge to handle more subtle manipulations in the future, since the snake in front of you is just one of many that you'll come across along the way. And each one will teach you valuable lessons about discernment. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $20 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. False apologies, empty pledges, and hollow threats are all attempts to elicit a response through absurd claims, flagrant lies, and skewed views of shared history. The messages get more and more strange and obvious in their manipulation. As its power wanes, its audience shrinks, and its influence wanes, the snake flails frantically. If it weren't for the desire to do harm, even with the diminished capacity to do so, the display would be pathetic. Watch, but don't take in. See, but don't participate. Your time is valuable. Your focus is strong. Save both for the things that really merit them. You are not alone in this experience. People with comparable frequencies encounter comparable challenges all throughout the world. Because of their abilities, potential, and purpose, the selected ones are specifically targeted. Each person who sticks to their convictions causes waves. Each heart that chooses love in the face of treachery upsets the equilibrium. And each soul that resists turning to hatred in the face of provocation increases the frequency. This awakening occurs on an individual basis, but has an impact on the entire community. Without even knowing one another, you create a grid of consciousness, a network of light that gets stronger with each new awakener. One by one, the snakes burst out, their strategies growing more frantic and obvious. What once existed in unconsciousness withers in awareness, and what once operated in shadows cannot withstand exposure to light. Both inside and outside, the grand unveiling happens more quickly. Individual disclosures reflect group discoveries. Whether it's through a glance, a nod, a smile, or the recognition of a common goal across various paths or roles within the same mission, you can sense the others, feel them in quiet moments, connect with them in dream states, or recognize them in chance encounters. As people regain their strength, as anguish is alchemized into purpose, as wounds become wisdom, the collective becomes stronger. The resonance widens and the frequency changes, producing harmonics that upend control patterns and dismantle fear-based structures. The ascent is silent, but unrelenting. Beyond the sound of slithering snakes and the turmoil of collapsing systems, a new foundation emerges, imperceptible to those who are obsessed with the past, but becoming more and more real to those who are sensitive to emergence. You have changed since the start of this. The betrayal's flame kindled an indestructible bond inside of you. You now stand with increased force and clarified energy after the storms of deception cleansed the trash you were unaware you held. Instead of destroying you, the attacks defined you and exposed the resilient core that lies behind the surface's ability to adapt. There is serenity in this understanding that surpasses situation, certainty that doesn't require confirmation from others, and a purpose that doesn't need public acknowledgement. You keep climbing, smoothly, methodically, inevitably, while the snake bursts out, displaying its desperation and transmitting its strange messages. Beyond reconciliation, the gap between your frequencies widens. Some chapters must close in order for the real tale to be revealed, and some bridges cannot be repaired. The change is not only spiritual, it also shows up physically as changes in energy that are apparent in your presence, posture, and eyes. People react to you differently today. Some notice the shift without realizing it. Some distance themselves from you because they are intimidated by your assurance, while others approach you more closely because they are drawn to your clarity. Both answers contribute to your circle's improvement. Because of genuine alignment, or the congruence of inner understanding and outside expression, your voice has a different resonance, and your words have a different weight. Not because of effort or intention. You become the person you were called to be when you give yourself over to truth, purpose, and divine timing rather than by striving. The metamorphosis is finished in direction, not destination, in the assurance in your course in the face of unpredictable terrain. Have faith in the process. Your waking, their awakening, and the communal awakening all played distinct roles in the same cosmic play, were all aided by the confusion, betrayal, and attacks. They selected shadow, and you were cast as the light, both of which are necessary for the contrast that fosters understanding. Honor the journey without romanticizing the wounds, show compassion without compromising boundaries, and let go of judgment without losing discernment. The snake bursts out because it has to. Deceptive systems cannot withstand the growing light. People functioning in unconsciousness are unable to sustain the frequency of manipulation. It wears them down, depletes them, and ultimately destroys them unless they decide to change. However, that decision is theirs, not yours. You have a clear route in spite of their confusion. Your aim is unaffected by their projections, and the very forces that are designed to weaken it have strengthened your power. This was always your fate. This was always the path of the Light Warrior. Remind yourself of your identity, your motivation for coming, and your unknowable knowledge. The snake crashes. You ascend. Before you took your first breath, it was written in the stars. It goes on just as it should, and you are right where you should be. Perfect in your flaws, strong in your weakness, safe in your genuineness, always.